Youth, a nonprofit program providing training and mentorship and motivation for youth from Sacramento. Barry Axios often lends his support to families whose loved ones are the victims of violent crimes, which is unfortunately something that we're here to talk about tonight. Barry, as always, thank you for taking some time to talk with us.
Thank you for having me here. Wish it would be on better circumstances.
Yeah.
But here we are again.
Yeah. So I want to start with a quote from you, just to get us going here. And you said, if this is not a wake-up call for Sacramento and the things we need to change, I don't know what is. So first, I want to take that quote in and of itself, and I want to take gun control out of it, right? Because gun control is, at this point, it's just like, it's just become this moot point. Like, people just don't hear it anymore.
Time.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Exactly. So let's take gun control out of it, and in terms of a wake-up call and what needs to change, what is number one on both of those lists?
Prevention. I think we have to intervene. You have to think about the situation that we're in. These problems are multifaceted. They're layered. You know, we talk about generational curses, generational trauma. And a lot of these folks who come from these communities, the communities are victimized from the beginning. So if we don't look at the prevention part of it, the intervention is kind of difficult, because at the end of the day, when we talk about now the new word is, it was gang related. Once these young people get involved in gangs, they become older adults.
Right.
And it wasn't
Real
really,
quick.
exactly, it wasn't really young people that was doing the shooting, as we often talk about. It were adults. And you know, that becomes the issue, that when we talk about it, as the mayor is talking about investing in the youth, he's not saying just invest in the youth per se because that's going to stop everything. He's saying invest in the youth because they are soon going to become adults. And then that's where we lose them. So somewhere, somehow, we lost those gentlemen that did this heinous and cowardly act. Somewhere down the line, we lost them when they were in their youth.
And in turn lost them to the point where they felt like the way to curb this and the way to take care of whatever issue they had was to go into the street with a gun on Sunday morning.
Well, bottom line is this: what you see around you, whether it's in your household, in your neighborhood, is what you learn, what you adopt, what you feel more comfortable with. And unfortunately, this is kind of what they feel comfortable with. Destruction. You know, we have normalized, unfortunately, this kind of gangster imagery. You got to understand, we watched a gangster perform in front of a live audience on one of the biggest nights of TV, Super Bowl Sunday. So you kind of see that, and you say, well, you know, that could be me. Now, that's not a shot at the individual, but understanding the reality is we have glorified it, we have commercialized it, we have normalized it. So now these young people are feeling like I could get away with this, where before, being a gangster was kind of like shunned at. It was like, you're what? You're doing what? Because there was more opportunities, more different directions. And now the direction a lot of our young people are feeling is, I'm going to go this way. And that has to be deterred, and it has to deal with prevention. And we don't have enough monies for prevention. And I know people hate the fact that I continue to bring about funding, but that's a reality. You cannot,
well, the state's got cash.
Well,
I mean, we're in a surplus, so that should not be a problem.
You said it, not me.
I do enough reporting on that.
Thank you. And if we can invest in downtown, if we can invest in certain communities, certain areas, why are we taking so much time and not investing in these young people, not investing in these communities, not investing in these people that are having these issues? I just don't really understand that.
Well, the conversation has been had this week. You talked about election time and the talking points, and as soon as this happened, I talked to Chief Hahn about this. You know, it was one side saying gun control, we need stricter gun laws. The other saying, you know, we need to crack down on crime. And we're not having the conversation about communities and funding and outreach. And, you know, Mayor Steinberg has been out there asking for more outreach, getting in these communities, more organization. He even talked about mental health and also housing. You don't shy away from being authentic about how you feel about elected leaders. How do you feel in terms of their reaction to this?
It's the same thing. We're reactionary. We are in a reactionary state, and this is something that we've seen before. Because I remember when we talked about the 9-year-old, we had a big press conference. I remember talking about the shootings in Old Sac, and we had a big press conference. So what's really changing? Until I see the action that is guaranteeing preventative measures to have more than a simple year we're talking about 3 to 5. We're talking about actually putting us in the budget, because you got to remember, this is a public safety situation. We are public safety workers. As much as people don't want to see that, that's what truly we are. And we don't have a budget for the work that we do. And you expect things to be different. And you have to remember, only just recently was Sacramento giving any kind of monies for gang intervention or prevention. This hasn't been a long-term thing. It's always been money for youth. And when we're talking about a gang culture and we're talking about a youth culture, there's two different things. When we talk about directly getting funds to focus on young people that are gang members that are involved in that kind of lifestyle, shooters and things like that, that's different than working with youth that might need some tutoring, want to be involved in sports, or maybe some simple mentoring that just needs some support. Totally different things. So you can't keep on saying, here guys, we're going to have $20 million. Okay, $20 million. But we're going to give you guys $1 million. And 25 organizations has to split that $1 million. How is that going to be a solution?
Right.
That becomes the issue. And now then you have other organizations who are fighting over that $1 million because they're like, well, we're trying to get something. We could do something with it. It becomes a cluster of crabs in a bucket grabbing, and we're never really figuring out the solution.
Fractures within the system.
Yes, because everybody is avoiding what is the reality. Police need to focus on getting guns off the streets. The funny part about it, we don't have that conversation about where are these illegal guns coming from? Why isn't there more of a focus on those gun dealers? We arrested the young people who have got the guns, but have we arrested certain manufacturers who are selling these illegal guns, or the simple individuals who are selling these guns illegally the way they're selling them? Have we really put a full attention on getting the guns off the street from the gun dealers? We haven't really discussed that, but we'll talk about the gangs and get them out of here, and that's going to be a problem solved, and it's not. It's just one fraction and element of the issue that we're dealing with right now currently.
All right, we're not ending the conversation, we're pausing it. We're going to take a quick break, and we will continue our conversation with community activist Barry Axios on the other side of this break.